So here is the knife all finished up, and I guess we can get into the scale first. You guys can get a close look at that, and I am really happy with how this came out. Just looks really good. Contoured it exactly the way the original was. Unfortunately, I can't do that really cool texturing, as you guys can see, as the original. Once I figure out the CNC on how to do contoured surfaces, then I will definitely be doing some cool textures just like this. But really happy with how it came out, just with the flat contoured look. I did bevel the edges exactly the way they are on the original, so everything matches up. Thickness is just right. And again, if I didn't have that CNC, then I wouldn't have been able to do the pivot pin, since there's a lot going on there's a sunken in rectangular section, and that holds in the pivot. As you guys can see underneath, you have that rectangular area that's kind of pushed up. That sits in there and keeps the pivot from spinning. So thank God I have that CNC, which gets the job done for interesting little sections like this for scales. I am continuing to learn with that, so hopefully I get better with it and I can just pump out scales by the push of a button. But I did etch and stone wash the liner, steel liner, so nice and dark. I was considering on not etching and stone washing the blade, but I just felt like it needed it to kind of clash with the neutral finish of the titanium, and then also bring out the colors of the Nebula fat carbon. And let's take a close look at the blade, which I'm really happy with how the etch and stone wash came out. Gave it a fresh edge, so it is nice and sharp. And yeah, really pleased with that. And what else? We have the pocket clip right here. So the pocket clip, I wasn't exactly sure what style I wanted to do, and I decided to just do the shape of the handle. So you guys can see, I just copied that and I think it looks really good. And another reason I wanted to make a custom pocket clip other than matching the scale was I wanted it to be just a little bit bigger, because the regular one, when you try to deploy the blade, your fingers would actually go onto the lock bar, making it a little difficult to deploy the blade. So with this with this pocket clip being a little bit larger, you can easily just flick it open, and once it's put together, I'll show you exactly what I mean. But really pleased with this. Really happy with it. Complements the show side scale very well. And one more thing I did, which was honestly one of the most difficult things with this, and it's surprisingly small, but as you guys remember, the scales have this interesting hole right next to the bearings where a bunch of gunk can get in there. So just a weird design in my own personal opinion. It's just very strange. So I got rid of that, and what I did was I did not put it on the show side scale, and then I actually took some of that Nebula fat carbon material and I made a very tiny piece that press fits into this little pocket. As you guys can see right there, it's not glued or anything, it's just really pressed in there, and it shouldn't come out. But if it does need to come out, or I want to change it up, I can just push it out with a little pressure. So really happy with that, and again complements the pocket clip and the show side scale. So just a really cool theme going on here, especially for 4th of July. Wanted to make a USA themed knife since this ZT is made in the US, and I wanted to get the red, white, and blue, and this was the perfect fit for it. So enough talking about it, let's put it together and see what it looks like. So here it is all put together, and I'm really happy with that fat carbon. Just looks really good, especially that it's contoured. Here is the pocket clip side, which is also really neat looking. And then just that little filler piece, even though it's small, still does its thing. And like I said before, just really wanted to get this USA or 4th of July themed pocket knife made. I've had this idea in my head for a while now, and that's why I specifically hunted for the 0308 just to make this happen, and I think it looks really good. Let's get it open, but first we'll check out the action, which is still very smooth. And the drop shut action is amazing on this knife. And that's mainly due to the fact that that blade is massive. It just looks really good. And like I mentioned earlier, I do like that the pocket clip is bigger, so now my fingers, it doesn't really matter where my fingers are because that pocket clip keeps me from putting pressure on the lock bar, and I can just flip it no problem. I used to have to put my fingers down at the bottom towards the end of the blade to do it, but now I can just reach up normally or comfortably and it flies right out. So really, really pleased with it. And as always, let me know down below what you guys think, how this thing turned out. And really quick, we'll check the edge, or the sharpening edge that I put on it. I put a little bit more aggressive, but as you guys can see, very, very sharp. So I think it's safe to say my sharpening skills are getting better, but I still do need more practice. And one thing that I do like about that little filler piece is it prevents stuff from getting right into the bearings, which again is just a really weird design, I think. But I am considering doing just kind of a recessed area here, similar to this side, just so you can kind of have that original 0308 look, and you can identify it from just a quick glance. But we'll see what happens. And again, I might do a texture, but who knows what will happen in the future. But really, really pleased with it. There is the 4th of July ZT0308. As always, you guys, thank you for watching. I really, really appreciate the support, and I will see you guys on the next one.